My name is Carrie Morrow. This is my podcast, What the Heck Next? It's a podcast for people who have found themselves clearly confused later in life because they've lost their job, their title, their benefits. They look around and they go, nothing I built is here. Sure, there are those people that sort of tiptoe into retirement and they're all planned for that, but that is not what happened here. Not in Hollywood. I produced for 40 years, movies, TV, and this is not what I set up because I wasn't done. What about you? Let's talk about it. I've had an interesting week and I've got some interesting thoughts, as I always do, and I love to share them. So please come along. What the heck next? Life has a way of changing our plans, the ones we never planned to change. And I want to talk about it. Welcome back to my podcast, What the Heck Next? My name is Carrie Morrow. I spent 40 years producing movies and TV in Hollywood. I loved my job. I loved my career. I loved my title. I loved what I did. It loved me back. I loved the career it brought me. But most of all, I loved the life it provided for me, which was something I always dreamed of. I made sure that what I was doing was going to give me the life that I never dreamed was possible as a kid. It did. Then it didn't. It delivered and then no delivery. Why don't we talk about it? My thoughts of this week are what you see is what you get, or is what you see not what you get? And lately, what I see is not what I get. That's confusing to me. I've had a very interesting week. A lot of things are popping up on my feed about all of these AI options for making movies. Now, I sit back and I think, I don't know, 3 years ago, we were marching down the street protesting AI. Now we're selling our souls to AI. AI coming for you, coming right to you. Just as I take little Chaya on a walk every day and walk down the street and see the little AI robots delivering people's meals, soon they'll be producing our movies. But for now, it's fascinating to me to see the quality of what is out there for options. Ben Affleck just sold an entire concept to Netflix based on the fact that AI will be able to seriously represent things like sets, lighting, camera, sound, visual effects, and options that were really, really at this point growing so far expensive that it was driving the cost of movies right on out the country. It's interesting, this new term, volume stage, which is coming around as this new option to shoot on as an option to replace locations, set building, lighting, camera options, background. I was having a great conversation with my brother, actor Rob Morrow, today, and we were talking about the validity of doing all of this replacement with AI. And what I told him was that I feel that all of those options will be relative. He's a director, he's a writer, he's an actor, and he's a creator. I am not any of those things, although I help people create their dreams because I'm in charge of all the money. I don't really weigh in on the creative part. And he was saying, well, you can see the quality. Well, therein lies the answer. So what's going to happen is the quality will be payable. So lower end productions will have a lower end quality, but eventually quality will level out and people will be allowed to have the quality that the big shows pay for. And everything will probably come down to a level where affordability will not be an issue, where people are not running around trying to raise money for all these different parts, because the option of making things at a really reasonable fee or reasonable budget will be an option for people. What you see is what you get is on my mind this week. So if you go to a movie as just a lay person, not a Hollywood big filmmaker, and you see, somebody dangling from a rope that's from a helicopter, like a Mission Impossible kind of a stunt, it could have been done on a stage. where the background isn't real and the helicopter isn't real, will the viewer care? Will you care that it's not real? That Tom Cruise really didn't hang? Well, he may always do his own stunts of that caliber, but in general, it will be so much easier to make things when those options are available to everybody, right? I am a firm believer in everybody should have the opportunity to make and create. When money drives you right on out the country, it hurt us all. It really hurt everybody. All the movies that are made, even all the award-winning movies that are made, they're made in the other side of the world. That's hurting everybody, literally, and me especially. So what you see is what you get. Except it won't be that, because AI is creating this virtual opportunity and this virtual option. So if you want to shoot a movie, and they were showing examples, there's great examples on the internet. They're in the Wild West and they're on a horse, and maybe they'll put them on a real horse, but it's just an empty stage in front of this years ago, it used to be called a green screen. Now it's this volume set with all these backgrounds that are so unbelievably manipulatable, where they can put you on the moon. I mean, they can put you anywhere in front of an office building, walking down the street. They were showing a scene of Ben Affleck walking up a hill, and they were changing the background while he's walking. And 1 minute he's on a dirt road walking up a mountain, and the next minute he's hiking. It's really unbelievable what's available. So what we're going to get in a whole different, will the mind care that it's not real? I guess they don't care when you're shooting animation now, do they? But they really believe the story. When you go to see a movie like Inside Out, people are deeply affected, or Demon Hunters, and people love animation. But this is real action in front of a make-believe. Let's call it make-believe, as I would call it when I was a kid. Make pretend. Backgrounds, scenery, options, lighting, and camera moves. They're all going to be created through AI. And that's unbelievable to me. And I will say this, I saw a wonderful presentation by a filmmaker of how he created these things to be so lifelike. It's fascinating. I've had a very interesting week. I traveled all the way to Florida. I'm in LA, and I traveled to Florida for a hockey opportunity, a very high-end hockey opportunity for my son. And I am beyond proud to say, out of the hundreds of kids that wanted to make this team, my son got an invitation right away. He made it through many rounds of cuts, and then he was asked to play in the All-Star game, and then they invited him into a meeting with the panel of coaches, and right away said, "We would like to offer you an opportunity on our team." Thank you. Very proud of him. And then as I asked more questions, because they wanted the parents in the meeting, all of a sudden, what I thought about hockey and high-level hockey became a whole different thing. What I saw, I'm not sure is what I'm going to get. I had no idea that hockey at that level was such an enormous roster. So if you have an enormous roster and you make the team, do you get to play? I don't know. Is it based on your talent? Is it based on their loyalty to players that they're bringing back from last year? I don't know. Look at a kid like Macklin Celebrini, who I just think is some form of surreal for more than life player. He went on to a team with seasoned veterans as a kid at whatever he was, 17, 18, and he rose right to the top. But is it about talent? Is it about loyalty? Is it about money? Is what I see what I'm going to get? So it's a very expensive situation. If I pay into this, is my opportunity going to be the same? Or I don't know. And I started to ask questions, and all of a sudden, like, things started to pop up at such a fast rate in the middle of that meeting that I didn't even think to be able to get wait a second, I don't understand. It wasn't really a conversation. It was me asking questions and them answering the question, and then me sitting with their answer going, I don't know, I don't understand what that just happened. Then when I found out, when it was this giant roster and my kid is the new kid on the block, will he get a chance? So I made him email the coach today and say, could you please explain this to me in detail? Where does my opportunity fit in here? Because there are opportunities where You can ask, where do I fit in? And they'll clearly say, I'm not answering you. That's the answer. If you ask a question in life, in business, in Hollywood, in hockey, you need an answer. I don't know. I'll get back to you. Okay, that's an answer, but not when somebody says to you, and by the way, in a situation with my son last week, he asked the question and they said, I'm not answering that. Guess what I said to him? Then you're not playing for them. Cannot play for people that tell you they won't answer that question. Gives me anxiety to think about that. And as a parent, you need certain answers. As my son works his way up this hockey pile, he needs answers. And it's not good enough. I have an expression that I use with a good friend of mine, and it says, same shit, different jersey. I don't want that situation. I want clarity. I want greatness. And I also want forward motion for him. No different than in my career. Where will this moment and opportunity get me, take me, present for me, be for me? It's really important that when you ask a question in business, because by the way, hockey in my world is a business. It's a big business. That when a coaching staff looks at you and goes, I don't have an answer. I don't know that answer. Warning, warning. Guess what? When I was a kid, there was a TV show called Lost in Space, and there was that robot, AI, I guess, future AI, but this was 50 years ago. And when the robot felt something uncomfortable, he would literally flap his little robot arms and go, warning, warning, Will Robinson, warning. I am learning in life to be quiet enough to hear warning or proceed with caution or good answer, but not no answer. Okay, no answer, not an answer. By the way, actually, no answer is your answer. And you're not going to pay for no answer. I'm in the middle of reconstructing my house. And if I said to the contract, so what is this going to look like? And he goes, I don't have an answer for you. Guess what? You don't have the job either. I'm not allowed to say to a studio, answer. I'm not answering that question as a woman in business. I know. You don't answer my question, I don't give you money. I had a very interesting situation. I've never had this happen to me before. We went to Florida and I booked an Airbnb. On the site said modern, literally modern, contemporary furnishings, great apartment, blah, blah, whatever it said. Beach, 1 block from the beach. Now I know that neighborhood because we actually stayed across the street in another fabulous Airbnb a couple years ago, but it wasn't available this week. I am not joking. We landed in Florida. It was pretty late by the time we got there, probably like 10:30, 11. So help me God. I opened the door and I said to my son, don't touch anything. This place is horrifying. It was disgusting, old, nasty yard sale furniture, possibly from, I don't know. I don't even know. They gave it, like they found it next to a dumpster, a broken couch. And let me tell you, I travel once a month. I am on the road, whether it be for my son or to go see my mother or for work or whatever it was. I am always traveling. No joke. I have been on a plane every month for the past year. I emailed the owner of this Airbnb before I went, and it wasn't that it was cheap. It was almost $1,000 for a few days. And I emailed them and said, I am traveling with my son. I see you have a sleeper sofa and a bedroom. And I put my son in the bedroom because I want him to get a good night's rest. He was going to play 4 hours of hockey 4 days in a row. I needed him to get really good sleep. So I said, please make sure there is bedding and linens and towels for 2 people to sleep, one on the couch and one in the bedroom. And he wrote me back, absolutely, it'll all be there, whatever you need. So we go in the place and I go in the closet. This is what the linen closet looked like. There was nothing. There was dirty old pillows. It was so disgusting, this place. They didn't even have a roll of paper towels. Treated the place, and this is my comment about this. If you're going to be in the service industry like Airbnb, you better not go into a business where you are serving the public, treating them less than, inmates. I paid for this place. It was disgusting. And if it wasn't midnight and I wasn't so exhausted, because I will tell you, traveling from east to west, there's a whole day. We left at 10 o'clock in the morning. We get to Florida. It's midnight. It's an entire day. And although it is for 5 hours, Got to be there 2 hours before. It takes you 2 hours to get there. By the time they land the plane and find a gate, because that's the new thing, is finding a gate to put the big ass plane in. It's 12 hours of your day. I could have been in Paris by that time, but that's what it took. Because we left LA in 10 in the morning. By the time we get to the place, get the rental car in Florida, you have to take a bus, do the rental car, and then get the rental car, and then go to the place, which is another half hour away. I would have moved out. I am too old. I'm too tired to repack, unpack, go find a place, call Airbnb, complain at midnight, and find a hotel. But by the way, stupid me, I should have. Okay. So I write to the owner. I'm furious. It's midnight and I'm writing, where's all this stuff? Oh my God, we're so sorry. We'll send you stuff. So the next day, box after box after box of, I don't know what it was, Prime, including paper towels. I was like, there's not a towel, not a paper towel. There's not a paper, nothing, not even a paper plate in that house. It was disgusting. The furniture, look at this place. It was disgusting. And the couch was broken. And there was no linens. I had to sleep with a blanket and a blanket off the main bed on the couch. The air conditioner was held in by plywood. It was too small for the room, too small for the opening. And they had paper blinds in the window that were 4 inches short. You could look completely in, and it was on the main floor in the street where people were walking by. Shame on them. And the owner's like, please, can we have a 5-star review? 5 stars? Okay. What I saw was not what I got. And their description was a lie. It was a scam and it was a lie. But here's where I'm at. Okay. Some bunch of group of friends. You could see there's a couple of people that own this dump. I wrote to them and said, if you want to know what your product is like, try it on for size. Okay. My son got in the shower and the thing came off, the hot water thing in his hand. And there was really no hot water, truly. But I had such an important journey. I had to get him to the ice. He had to be on the ice and he had to be focused and fed and slept. And I truly didn't have it in me to fight with the stupid ass Airbnb. What I saw was not what I got. Or maybe what I saw is what I got. Let's go with that. But what I saw in the Airbnb thing, shameful. I can't give them a good review. And by the way, I asked for a late checkout not because I wanted it to go to the beach and walk around the beach. We had to be on the ice on the last day, on the championship day. He had to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't check out at 6 o'clock in the morning because I'm also on a different time zone. Everything has to make sense. So I wrote to the owner and said, shame on you. Okay. First of all, I'm not here for a beach trip. I'm here because my son has this very important hockey opportunity and he has to be on the ice and I have to be with him. I have to drive him all the way to the rink. And what you set out to deliver was garbage, and shame on you. And you should give me all my money back. The owner hasn't responded to the money part yet, but I'm going to tell you, he actually said, thank you so much. And we will do better. And I said, you could have much better clientele if you catered to people and gave them towels, not towels that you got at the car wash, used, most disgusting towels I have ever touched in my life. I'm not some like Ritz-Carlton snob. You got to give decent people decent things. This was not a homeless shelter and this wasn't a youth hostel where you pay $25 a night. No, not acceptable. You have got to give quality. I was pretty disappointed. And his illusion, like 9/10 of the law, they gave the illusion that they were presenting this wonderful thing, and it was garbage. Okay? No different than like, is the illusion of what filmmaking is turning into going to be garbage or good? That was the conversation I was having with Rob this weekend. Is the illusion going to be that they're riding a horse? It's really not a horse, and it's really not up a hill. It's really in a stage, and the lighting is different, and everything is different, and it's all manipulated by magic. I mean, AI is rather magic. I have to tell you, I use ChatGPT like it's the gospel sometimes, and people are like, oh, you shouldn't rely on it. It's done me pretty good. It's actually really helped me. It's helped me with my insurance claim. It's helped me with hockey. It's helped me with reality. It's really given me some really good insights. I'm going to believe that in the movie business, where it's going to come up with these different opportunities to create different things. I used to say when bids for like visual effects came in so big, I used to say there's some 12-year-old in his mother's basement doing this for $1. You know what? that's what AI has turned into. It's turned into so seamless. So here's my last request. You know what I would like seamless? I would like flying coast to coast to not be an all-day experience. I do not know how air travel is still 6 hours coast to coast. It's just too much. It drains the hell out of me. I'm exhausted from it and I can't stand it, but I have to do it. So my thoughts are for this week that what we see could be what we get and could not be what we get. We have to ask the questions. It's super size important to ask the questions. On our departure from Florida last night, I look kind of raggedy. I'm so tired from traveling. We were on the bus from the rental car place back to the airport, and there was a mother sitting across from me. She was in line with me. She was rather talkative. She was telling me her daughter is in theater at University of Miami. She's going to go to New York. She asked me the question, do I think that a college education will help a performer? And I said, college is not for that unless you're going to be a doctor or lawyer or that. College is just to extend your youth, to give you the time to develop your mind, to find your way. Do I think it'll help you become an actress? Not really. I don't know that in my lifetime I have ever had a job, and I handle multi millions of dollars. Nobody has ever asked me if I went to college. Nobody has ever asked me to see my diploma, and I have one from a 4-year with 2 degrees. I've never been asked that. So not necessarily in Hollywood, but she was so discouraged. She said, then what do you think? Like, what do you think my daughter should do? I said, the advice that I give everybody after 40 years of producing, get near the people who do what you want to do. If you want to work in Hollywood, get near those people. I always say that the term waiter, like waiter and a waitress in a restaurant, came from Hollywood because they used to say Marilyn Monroe got noticed as a waitress. She was waiting tables. That waiter is a job that you do when you're waiting for something else to come to fruition in your life. I said to her, don't wait. Tell her not to wait. Get near the people who do what she wants to do. That's the most important advice. I think it's really important because she was so sure that she's so proud that her daughter goes to University of Miami and she's so excited. And I said, get near the people that do what she wants to do and start building those relationships, whether it be working in a production office or for a producer or a writer or a director or an actress. Get near those people and start getting, as I like to say, start getting pregnant with the whole world that you want to be in. If it's Wall Street, if it's fashion, get near those people. It's the most valuable experience you could possibly get. Having said that, I've had a very, very successful week learning things that I definitely didn't know about hockey. And now I'm asking a million questions, and I'll let you know when I get my answer, and I'll let you know where my boy ends up. So crazy proud of him. My daughter has also been accepted to an international medical school, and she has an interview tomorrow, and I'm very, very proud of her. Look at me, only parent. I did pretty good. As I like to say every week, great things happen when you shoot the puck. Never forget that. And don't be afraid to ask questions, speak your truth, and listen to your answers, and listen to what the universe says. By the way, ask the universe to not let things come to you that are not the right thing for you. Because the most important thing is that right things come to you, and you recognize them, then you ask your questions. Is it right for me? You'll get your answers. It's super fun to see what the universe does. I'm super happy to be back in Los Angeles in my rental property. And by the way, I got a new rental property. It's a better fit for now that all the kids are home. Summer's coming. Really grateful. So thank you for listening to my podcast. Like, follow, please subscribe, tell people to listen. I can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you find me. Watch my posts every day. They're really interesting, filled with all kinds of my fabulous advice. I look forward to giving you more and telling you where my week goes. By the way, it's my birthday this week. So I thank God for one more year around the sun. I am in great health. I am in great peace. I am in great motion. All great things are coming. So happy birthday to me. Thank you. This is What the Heck Next. I am Carrie Morrow. This is my podcast, doing the best I can with what I got. Thank you, because life has a way of changing our plans, the ones we never planned to change. See you next week.